Hello, my name is Wexler and I will be narrating this video today. Today we will be covering how Civ 5 works for simulating the realist philosophy of international relations. This video will start partway through a game as America, where we have already invaded and destroyed Sweden. In this game we will cover two parts. The first part is the early game, and then a second part for the late game. This game will progress from turn 97 to turn nearly 300 from the year 710 AD to 2017 AD. Here you can see the state of the empire that we are currently in. We currently have 4 cities. 2 were homegrown cities from settlers that we sent out, and 2 are captured cities of Sweden. As you can see on the right hand side is Sweden's capital. This was captured by a large army that we maintained as per our ideology as realists. And we have almost conquered the entirety of that empire. Now we are moving into the medieval era as a brief transition, followed almost immediately by an invasion of our neighbors to the north, the Shoshone. Now, as realists, our job is to secure our place in the world and destroy any outside forces that might endanger our civilization. So we are playing very aggressively with a large army against our neighboring civilizations. As you can see, Neo-Conservatism is already close to falling. Next, there are lists that are put out periodically throughout the game, listing various statistics. This one is the people with the pointiest sticks, also known as the largest army sizes. As you can see, our army is twice that of the next largest, and almost 10 times that of the smallest in the game. Here we have captured the Shoshone capital of Neo-Conservatism, although our empire is not doing incredibly well with our realist ideology. Because of this large amount of war, our happiness is dwindling at -9, and our gold per turn is -30 as the upkeep for our army is enormous. Our science is also lagging far behind other players, but we are able to still attack with our military might. Here we have moved up to the final neighbor on our continent, Ethiopia. Ethiopia has just had some of their land taken by our great general settling a citadel next to their city Harar, which we plan to take first with our army before moving on to the northern city of Adwa. As you can see, our army is set up for invasion and ready to go. Now we move on to our social policies. We have already adopted the entirety of the honor tree, which grants bonuses for military might and for fighting, and now we are taking some policies from the Liberty Tree, which grants bonuses for large empires and makes it easier for an empire that is as sprawling as ours to stay alive. Here you can see we have taken Harar, and as a realist would, have secured almost the entirety of our continent. We are, however, in danger of Ethiopia, as while their army is smaller, it is more technologically advanced, giving them quality over our quantity. They have pikemen and knights to our longswordsmen and knights, but we have a stable position with these cities. Here we are forced to make peace with Ethiopia to reconsolidate our army. He did, however, offer us a city, which is the reason we accepted this deal, which will allow us to reconsolidate our armies in his 2 southern cities, which are now our northern cities, to later invade his capital. As you can see by his resources, this war has hurt him almost as much as it has cost us to fund. Now we are entering the Renaissance era, and as you can see, it is far later than it was in the real world at 1785, which is a testament to our slower tech progress. Here we get our first spy as we have entered the Renaissance era, and we are placing the spy in the capital of Ethiopia in order to gain line of sight on their city. Here we have opened the demographic screen to show where we stand in the world. We are the lowest on approval and literacy, which is our scientific progress and our happiness, but top on land, soldiers, gross national product, manufactured goods, and crop yield. This means that our cities are doing quite well even if our empire is unhappy and a bit behind in technology. It does mean, however, that we have the production capacity to turn out many units even if they are less advanced. Here is our first attempt at attacking the Ethiopian capital with America's unique unit, the Minutemen, but as you can see it is a difficult process as Ethiopia has the Great Wall, which limits troop movement within their territory. As you can see, the attack has pretty much failed, putting us in dire straits as we are at minus 66 gold per turn for unhappiness, and our science is suffering as a factor of our gold. This has put us in a rather dire situation as it makes us incredibly vulnerable to outside attacks, and we are desperately trying to build banks to increase our gold, and universities and other such buildings in order to increase our science and happiness. Here we are forced to delete our already small army as our gold is not high enough to support it, and soon they will be retired automatically. In the nick of time, however, we met several other civilizations, in this case Egypt, and were able to trade for their luxury resources, which will increase our nation's happiness, making our production and gold go up as our people are better workers when they are happy. We then trade likewise with both Germany here, where once again we are trading 3 resources for 2 as we are desperate, followed by the other civilization, Songhai. After trading with Songhai, we are still very low on gold, so we go back and trade Egypt several more resources in exchange for gold so that we can fund a larger army. With these trades, we are able to fund our war, putting us in much better position than we were prior to these trades. As you can see, we have now 256 science per turn and 7 gold per turn and 17 happiness. Here we have even gotten our first great writer, where we will create a great work in order to bolster our civilization. This is then followed by our advance to the industrial era. Once again, we are behind modern times, but we are still moving along now at a much steadier pace. Our empire is picking up after the previous failed war with Ethiopia. Here we have placed our spies in the 2 remaining Ethiopian cities in order to gain line of sight on them in preparation for a new war. Here, the first meeting of the World Congress is being set, and that will conclude our session. This will all be picked up further in part 2 of this video. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again in the next one.